Welcome back to Our Issues Milwaukee. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. If you're just joining us, our focus today is on the upcoming primary election scheduled for Tuesday, August 14th. One of the races on the ballot is for Milwaukee County Sheriff. We were just joined by Acting Sheriff Richard Schmidt, and we'll now turn our attention to one of his opponents, Mr. Earnell Lucas. He's a 25-year veteran at the Milwaukee Police Department. He retired as a captain in 2002 and subsequently took a job with Major League Baseball as supervisor of security and executive protection for then Commissioner Bud Selig. He currently is employed as Major League Baseball's chief liaison of security and investigations. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much for having me.
It's my pleasure. We've given an overview just now on your background in law enforcement, but on a personal level, you were born in Milwaukee's Hillside neighborhood, raised by your grandmother. A lot of people can relate to that, and you're a graduate of Rufus King High School and Marquette University. So when did you first realize that you wanted to take on law enforcement as a career?
Well, at an early age, Andrea, as you mentioned, I was born in the Hillside Housing Project. In fact, my mother never made it to St. Anthony's Hospital, which was less than a quarter mile away. Grew up in the Harambe neighborhood, and at an early age, at age 11, lost my mother. I was raised by a grandmother who taught me values of hard work, dedication, commitment, sacrifice. And at about 12 or 13, I was on the way to a grocery store at First and Burleigh, when a police officer pulls alongside in a squad car, never gets out of the squad car, and he says to me, "Hey, young man, you stole a woman's purse." And I said, "No, sir, I didn't." And he said, "Yes, you did." I said, "Sir, I got a note, $20, I'm going to this grocery store over here for Grandma." And he said, "Well, I'm going to run you over and have the woman identify you." And I said, "Well, sir, you can do that. But if she doesn't identify me, would you run me back over here to this grocery store so I can get Grandma's groceries home?"
Right.
And it was in that moment, Andrea, that I knew that law enforcement is something that I wanted to do. I wanted to be able to serve my community, protect my community. When you think about the encounters that young urban men and women are having today, particularly those of color and immigrant communities with law enforcement, the outcomes are much different than the one that I had. And what was different, and what's different about those times, I think the word trust is one of the things. That officer sped away. I never saw that officer again. At age 18, I graduated Rufus King High School. I joined the police department and was assigned to the 5th District down on 4th and Locust. One of the very first officers that I meet was that officer that I had encountered as a young boy.
Really?
Yes, yes.
Wow.
And I went up and asked him that proverbial question that none of us like to hear, "You remember me?" And right away he was taken aback. But I told him, I said, "Sir, I just want you to know, it was your encounter with me that inspired me to want to serve and protect this community, because you had the authority to do whatever you choose with me. But somewhere in me, you saw something that said, no, this young man's not involved in any type of criminal activity," and you went on your way. And I knew then that that's what I wanted to do, to serve and protect this community. I'm, again, a lifelong resident, member of this community. Andrea fought for this community, nearly made the ultimate sacrifice for this community. So it's for those reasons that, again, law enforcement was my chosen profession, and I tried to the best of my ability to serve.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing that. And you've said, if elected, you'd lead the Sheriff Department on a fresh new start. In what ways would you do that?
We've got to get away from some of the failed policies of the past, Andrea. We witnessed 7 deaths in an 18-month period in which one individual lay on the floor for 7 days without any type of food and nourishment. What type of culture, what type of human being would allow another human being to lie on the floor and die like that? We've heard of stories of individuals being in that jail and not receiving their proper medication and left to die as well. We've heard of stories of females delivering on the floor of the jail and not having a very humane way in the birthing process. So we've got to change the culture. We've got to get a fresh new start. We've got to get away from the failed policies of the past. There needs to be some accountability. It wasn't just one person responsible for all of that. It was all of the commanders and leaders there, and I think they ought to be held accountable for what transpired over the course of the last 15 plus years.
Okay, so you, as I mentioned, were a 25-year vet with the Milwaukee Police Department, started as a police aide, which says a lot because you, right out of high school, went for it. And you actually survived being shot in the face in the line of duty. And we're blessed to have you here to talk about it, but it leads me to wonder, how do you feel about guns that are out there on the streets?
Well, it's certainly, the profession is a lot more challenging today than it was when I was an officer. We encountered a gun maybe in the course of a week, maybe once, maybe twice. Now those officers are encountering guns, if not every other call, or certainly on a much more frequent pace. We've got to do more as a society to protect those that are protecting and serving us by, again, trying to find solutions to rid our community of the violence in our community, the guns that are on our street. And I'm going to be a fierce advocate for doing all that we can to get guns off our street, and certainly to protect those men and women that serve and protect us.
Yeah, and I just mentioned to your opponent, Richard Schmidt, that there are the 3 former jail staffers who are facing charges in the death of Terrell Thomas, and there have been several lawsuits, including one from former Milwaukee police officer Dominique Hagan Brown. Just to refresh some people's memories, his shooting of Seville Smith sparked the unrest in Sherman Park, the neighborhood, about 2 years ago, and he's currently serving time on an unrelated sex charge. He is seeking a $75,000 in damages for the way he says he was treated at the jail, and then there are several other lawsuits pending from things that have happened. Of course, all of this costs taxpayers money. What, in your opinion, is the way that you kind of lead in order to stop seeing these type of lawsuits?
Well, it starts with accountability. Certainly the former sheriff, while he was promoting himself and his agenda, traveling around the country and not being here serving and protecting our community, left in command an individual who himself has now not owned up to the responsibility. Every one of those lawsuits bear the name of the former sheriff and the current acting sheriff in there. And again, there has been no accountability. He would ask you to judge him on what he's done over the last 11 months. Well, my career has spanned 40 years, both in law enforcement and in baseball. I'm asking you to judge me on my 40-year career, not when I woke up on September 1st. We've got to put leaders in those positions in that jail that are accountable. Right now, the acting sheriff chose to put 4, 5, maybe 6 commanders up there. And when it comes to accountability, I think it lacks, because again, at the end of the day, when somebody is going to be asked to be held accountable for something, it's going to be people pointing fingers at one another. I want to place a commander in there and hold him or her accountable to leading young men and women, to treat people with dignity and respect, to put in place a intake process that will regard a person's medical condition before they enter into our facility, whether they have mental illness, an issue that is really troubling as to the individuals that are clogged up in our jail system right now. And then also have, again, a screening process for when those individuals are in our custody, that again, we can ensure they are treated with dignity and respect, and are given the proper care and treatment for their pre-existing condition, and then certainly are not left to languish in our jails. We'll have activities so that hopefully when they return to society, they won't have to repeat coming through our jails again.
So when you first announced your plans to run for Milwaukee County Sheriff, you were going to be going up against David Clark. Well, he has resigned, obviously, and so you've got the acting sheriff, Richard Schmidt, and also Deputy Robert Ostrowski. What would you say sets you apart from those 2 individuals?
It has to be my experiences, Andrea. Again, judge me on a 40-year career of law enforcement and public safety. I've had the opportunity for the past 16 years of ensuring that 75 million fans at the major league level and 40 million fans at the minor league level are able to safely enjoy a baseball game. That means I'm partnering with law enforcement officers on a local, state, and national and international level all around the country and all around the world for us to put on our games. I think my experiences in the field, whether it was the incident commander of Big Blue, the crane collapse here, and during the construction phase of Miller Park, the multiple incidents that I investigated as a commander and oversaw as a commander in the 3rd District. The partnerships that I helped form, whether it was the relationship that I helped establish at Marquette University, the Weed and Seed Project, Avenues West, now known as the Near West Side Partners Program, all of those things were in their infancy when I came to the 3rd District, and now we see that those things are actually starting to bear fruit. So it's all of those experiences that I bring, plus the international experience of working, again, around the globe. We have assets all around the country and all around the world that we have to protect at baseball, and that sets me far apart from my 2 opponents.
All right, so on this show we talk about the issues, obviously, and one of those issues that comes up all the time is human trafficking. We know the I-94 corridor is used on a daily basis to transport victims from one end of the state to the other, you know, and the sheriffs, they're on the highways. What would you like to see implemented to kind of get a hold on what's taking place on the roads when it comes to human trafficking?
Well, we've got to become partners in a larger network. Certainly there's groups that work here in Milwaukee County with human sex trafficking, but even more so than that, there's a national network, a database in which there's intelligence, there's information that we can share not only with organizations here in Milwaukee County, but also receive information from them that we can provide to our deputies, to the officers that are on patrol to detect and certainly to interdict issues of human sex trafficking. But more importantly, again, it's something that we as a law enforcement agency has an obligation to partner with agencies in this community. We've got to start very early at not only teaching our young ladies, but our young men to ward and guard against those that would prey on them, those that don't have parents or have a grandparent like I did who really loved and cared for me. And we've got to, as an agency, partner with them at an early age, not wait until at the start, late when we're looking for those individuals after they've been taken away from their homes. We've got to start much earlier.
All right, and finally, your first priority, if in fact you are elected as Milwaukee County's next sheriff?
I would say is open my office door to those men and women who have been a part of that organization over the past 15 years, who have now have an opportunity to walk in that office and say to me, sir, I want you to know that I'm very proud to serve in this profession. I've been waiting on an opportunity for someone to give me an opportunity to do what it is that I swore an oath to do. And I'm going to be that. I'm going to be a fresh, refreshing new start in the Sheriff's Department. Andrea, I'm going to allow those men and women to step forward, take their rightful place, and oversee the future of the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office. I'm going to step in and decrease and allow them to increase and make this a better organization for the future, make Milwaukee County a stronger place, make Milwaukee County a safer place.
All right. Well, I thank you for your time today, and good luck to you.
Thank you so much.
All
I really
right,
appreciate it.
all the best.
Thank you.
Mr. Earnell Lucas, he is a candidate for Milwaukee County Sheriff. The primary election is again set for Tuesday, August 14th, and this particular race is not one you'd want to sleep on. The winner of the primary will go on to take the role of Milwaukee County Sheriff. For more information about Mr. Lucas and where he stands on the issues, visit lucas4mke.com. You can also visit milwaukee.gov or call 414-286-VOTE. That's 286-8683 to find out everything you need to know to let your voice be heard. That's going to do it for today's show. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. As always, thank you for watching, and I do hope you join us again next week as we take another look at our issues Milwaukee. Have a great day.